Hello, dear ones. Hey, I wanted to just pour into you for a quick second. I haven't done a video in a while. I've been really busy. A lot's been going on. I've been traveling. I haven't had a lot of time to go through messages and just see kind of what's up and what's going on in your life. It is funny, though, because I find that your messages kind of come in waves, meaning that one week they're kind of all the same topic. The next week they're all the same topic. So it's funny how that kind of works out. But this time I'm seeing a really common theme through all of y'all's messages, and it's about being single. And I did a video on this a while ago. And so for some reason, I guess God wants to pour something into you. So I'm just going to go with it, and I'm just going to pour into you what He showed me. I want to preface this video with this. Listen, just because you're single does not mean you're available. We need to understand that. Single does not equal available. And that's something that the world lies to you about. And the world tells you this, man, when you're single, date it up, man, go experiment, find out what you like, what you don't like, what works, what doesn't work. No, don't do that. You're not going to hear me tell you that. I think that's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. Here's why. Because the more you go out and give your heart away, the more you go out and get connected to somebody you're not supposed to be with, the more you give a piece of you away, the more left you feel empty, you feel insecure, you feel confused because it didn't work out. So what's wrong with me? There's something wrong with me because nothing ever works out, and it's a lie from the enemy. It's all a setup to get you to back down so that you're insecure and don't know who you are. And none of that is from God. None of that is from God. Here's what I am going to tell you. I just happen to believe this. I happen to believe that God knows who you're going to marry. I just do. I happen to believe that God knows exactly what you need, not just what you want. I happen to believe that God knows the exact person He has for you. I happen to believe that God knows when you're ready, when they're ready. I just happen to believe that. I believe God is God. And if you even look at the beginning of the word with Adam and Eve, listen, Eve was presented to Adam. She didn't go finding and searching for him. Sister, he found her. And when he found her, watch, there was an identification because she was from his own rib. So he identified a piece of him in her. So you need to understand something. The person that God has for you, there's going to be an identification there at the right time, in the right place. You're not going to go finding him. You're not going to have to put yourself out there. You're not going to have to lower your standard. Listen, the enemy tried to lie to me for a long time and tell me that, Allie, you're just too powerful. You're too bold. You're too dominant. You're too this. No man is going to want to date you because you're too overbearing. I just happen to believe that that's not true. I happen to believe that the man God has for me is going to be able to compliment me just as much as I'm meant to compliment him. So you got to stop believing these lies that the world tells you, okay? God knows exactly who you need, but here's why, Allie. Why does being single not mean being available? Because your season of singleness is so crucial and imperative to your season of marriage. Why? Because if you don't know who you are single, you're not going to know who you are and what you have to give when you're married. And whatever you don't deal with single, you're going to carry into your marriage, and you're going to have to deal with it when you're married. That's not fun. It's a lot harder. So listen, we have to learn what it means to be content being single with God alone, and knowing that your value does not come from being in a relationship, my love. Your value does not come from a man. It does not come from what he gives you. It does not come from what he says about you. It comes from what God gives you and what God says about you. God gives you anything that you need. He gives you perfect love without condition. He gives you grace to be where you are, and he tells you that you are a royal priesthood, chosen and dearly loved by God no matter what. Listen, you want to know what it feels like to be loved? Walk with God. You know what? You want to know what it feels like to be valued? Walk with God. Allow God to speak to your heart what's true, because then when you know who you are as a woman of God, you're going to be able to pour into that man that he brings you, and you're going to be able to love him the right way. You're not going to be needy. You're not going to rely on him for your joy because he's going to be an imperfect person. So you're going to have to get that source from God. If you don't know who you are single, you won't know who you are in a marriage. God wants you to stand whole. He wants you to know who you are, and he wants you to be strong in that so that you complement that person the right way. Listen, Adam wanted a mate. He wanted a help mate that was comparable but different. He didn't want someone that was just like him. He didn't want someone that was less than or greater than. He wanted someone comparable and different. Listen, God is more concerned about your process, getting you where you need to be, than handing you what you can't yet handle. Okay? Trust God. Being single does not mean being available. It's so crucial that you walk single, content with God, in joy, in love, in perfect peace, knowing that everything you need comes from Him. And if He hasn't given it to you yet, it's not because it's no. Delay does not mean denial. It just means that He's going to get you ready. There's more progress to be made, okay? Trust God. He knows exactly what you need, who you need, and when you need it. All right, dear one? Your value doesn't come from man. It comes from God, okay? I want to leave you with this. Philippians chapter 4, 12, 13, the word says this. Paul said, I learned what it means to be content no matter the circumstance, right? Whether I'm well-fed, whether I'm hungry, whether I have little, whether I have much. Why? Because my source comes from God and God alone, and He gives me the strength to overcome all things. All right? God's got you. Trust Him. Give Him your heart, your whole heart, and trust Him with it. Okay? I love you guys so much. I'm always praying for you. I'll talk to you soon. Bye.